and that's Massachusetts. Massachusetts, the massholes, as we call it in New England. I've been up to Massachusetts a couple of times, and let me tell you, there are some shitty towns in Massachusetts. One of those historically in Massachusetts is Salem, Massachusetts, which is actually broken up into 4 different areas. Danvers, Massachusetts, happens to be one of those places that was renamed where? Not even over 100 years back. It formerly was known as Salem Village. And there were 4 of them at one time. This also houses a place called, I'll get to the point here what I'm talking about. It also houses a place called Eaglesall Caverns. And I believe the man's name was Nathaniel Eaglesall. And during the Salem witch trials, what they would do is there were so many spectators that wanted to come out and watch the Salem witch trials. And what they would do is, women getting tortured, burned, all kinds of the craziest shit you could think of. I don't think nobody could outdo it except for Caligula itself. You know what I'm saying? In ancient Rome. But they did horrible things to women during that period. You want to talk about, we always talk about women and being tortured or whatever. We should bring that shit up with Massachusetts, because Massachusetts up there, not only do they have a commemorative statue about the Salem witch trials and it was all directed under one man. All directed mostly by the byproduct of Nathaniel Eaglesall and another gentleman, which I can't think of his name right now. But there were so many spectators that wanted to see these women tore apart and ripped apart and burnt at the stake, etc., that what happened was they had to build a separate entrance or a separate location. So they would have this is how many people wanted to come there and watch women be tortured like this. Okay, now that's why I want to put an emphasis for you, because this particular place, Danvers, Massachusetts, is formerly known as Salem Village. And the reason I know that is because my friend Matt, who grew up with me out in Connecticut, we used to go up by that way. And we went to those particular locations because I brought it up. Actually, it was me and Mark that brought it up, his friend. But we brought it up. It was like, oh, fuck it, let's go over there. It was like a hair skip and a jump. Like Massachusetts is just like, it's a whole bunch of like counties and small municipalities. You know what I'm saying? They're like 4 cities, really. You know what I mean? Like our cities are New Haven, Hartford, Bridgeport, where I live in Stanford. You know what I mean? Those are really only the cities. Hartford's the capital, but that place is shit. So anyway, the point I was getting at is this female reverend is recent. She was in Danvers, and something I'm familiar with was we have pumpkin patches, we have freaking Christmas tree fields, apple orchards, all the stuff you could do in New England. I mean, everybody knows this. Most of us have been doing it all our life. So this woman decided that she was going to go to an apple orchard, who she is, I want to emphasize, she's not only a reverend, but this woman is also in the local constituency of local government. So she also has a petition and a place to live, all right? So there's a $100 fee to pick these apples. I don't know what the hell is in these apples because it don't cost that much in Connecticut, but okay. Because $100 to pick you a bush full of fucking apples. Apples have magic in them. Midas himself touched them. You know what I mean? I don't know. But she pays $100. She goes with her family, a 7-year-old daughter and a younger, almost infant daughter, and her husband. And they go about and they pick their apples, and a couple of apples fall over to the side. It's approximately 6 of them. 6 whole apples. The shame. I said, business must have been horrible this past season. So they decided as a recourse they were going to call the police. This is what I terminized. I try to terminize this to a lot of you guys because this is something that you have to see more readily and fashionably, which is this: people weaponizing the police for their own personal gains. And a lot of people do this. It goes flip-flop to do genders or whatever. But that was personal. And the problem I have with Connor's Apple Orchard, that's the name of it, don't go to this motherfucker either. Spread the word. Don't go to this motherfucker. Fuck them. Don't give them the $100. Let them close down. Because, see, a lot of people go to Salem, Massachusetts for the folklore, the folklore, you know. I said the folklore. I'm going to say the folklore. I'm going to respect it. They go there for that. And it's tourism money. Just like here in New York City, it's tourism money. And they've been shut down for a little bit now. The theme attractions that they have not been able to operate. I did a quick little research of that and found that out. But Denver's got something else special. See, the further you go up north, y'all might not know this, but I know this. I've been to Caribou, Maine, a couple other places with my boy Matt. He likes to fucking snowboard and ski and all that. Now I know how to do that shit. But the further you go up north, it's like the further you go down south. The more simpler the people become. The more simpler the ideas, and the simple ideas maintained. Oh, we know this all throughout fucking Connecticut. Even some parts here in New York, I've lived here too, so I know both of them like the back of my hand. And I left this recently from New York to go back to Connecticut, to go back to Stamford. So I know this very well. There's places in upstate New York, even the counties in New York. My mother lives out in Rockland County. So, there's areas that literally, that are so rural that you would think you're in a whole different state in some cases, Like some small towns in Connecticut can be different. So, you get the mentality of people that they want to stick to fashion or whatever, and the local people there, they say, well, it's good old boys club, good old girls club, good old whoever's club, and that's how they partake their brand of justice. We've seen now several localities throughout Texas, throughout Florida, throughout many different states, including Rhode Island, where I saw one of the most vivid freaking videos I'd ever seen, where this man just literally duffed this woman in her face so hard that her nose was bleeding in a jail cell, And this was a white woman. This was a white woman, right? So, this shit ain't got no discrimination boundaries on it, all right? This is about gender and about dominance. And I don't care nobody how they say it any other way. When they attempted to call the woman, the police on that woman and her family, they knew damn well that woman didn't look like no criminal. They knew damn well that woman wasn't dressed to look like she was in there robbing those 6 damn apples. 6 apples. And had that recourse been for somebody else, I don't think you would have taken it the same. You would have took the same approach. And what really bothers me is, and the reason I speak about this because, we have a, hold on, let me let this motorcycle go like that. I want to point this out. All right, sorry about that, guys. Hey, what's going on in that? I'm glad you're here. I want to point this out. There has been a turn of events in the past, I'm going to say 5 years, via social media, via all these advocacies and everything like that. And a lot of women are standing tall and high or whatever. And I got 2 sisters. So I'm going to tell you this, I don't care if you're black, white, polka dot or whatever. My first girlfriend and every girl subsequently after that was damn near Italian, Greek or some shit. So it ain't about that. What it's more about is this, guys. Ladies, with all your advocacies about who got called fat this week, who wearing funny clothes this week, why we fat shaming Lizzo, because Lizzo is twerking at a basketball game in front of somebody's motherfucking niece, nephew, or son or daughter. That's why. You do that shit at your crib, on your time, okay? That's all we asking. Come back to the game. The problem is, you're not highlighting your biggest, and I would say, personally, your biggest obstacles. And your biggest obstacles right now are sexual assaults, physical assaults. The third thing I would say would be death rates. There's a lot of guys out here. I watched this story, and I tell you guys about this all the time. I watched this story, and I'll put it in the comment section. And the link to this story right here is in the description box right now. There was this guy down in Atlanta. I want y'all to hear this story. It was real sick how this motherfucker did this. And I hope he burns in hell, and I hope everybody in his family is sick of his family DNA. See, a lot of y'all don't know this. I'm going to tell y'all 2 things. A lot of people that's on here that's black, y'all going to agree with me, and a lot of Latinos, you're going to agree with me too, because you know what I'm talking about. A lot of you motherfuckers is inbred. And I don't mean purposely. No. I'm going to speak more about what I mean about little locales. Because I know about little locales because I'm a townie my motherfucking self, all right? So as a townie, I know that a lot of these townie, little small towns, Norwich, Groton, Connecticut, Ockham, Connecticut, all these little small towns, right? New Britain, Willimantic. all these little small towns. You'll have one guy and he's like the Juan Pito, Don Chulo, you know, Mac Daddy of the whole fucking town. All the girls sleep with him. He got all the money. Big Poppy, don't worry about the money. We're going to have a show type of dude, you know. So what happens is multiple women end up sleeping with this dude. Multiple women in this locale end up having kids by him. There's a skit on YouTube right now. I think it's got something like 54 million views, where this guy pranked his girlfriend and said, hey, I found out we cousins. We can't do this no more. And he actually tried to continue the relationship. I don't know what kind of Frankenstein shit this was, but he actually tried to continue the relationship. So that goes to show it messes up a chromosome or two, you know what I mean? There's a family that was royal that they had a actual ailment that came about from inbreeding so much, where the royal family itself, to maintain and keep ascertain of their royalty, they inbred, and the skin actually started turning blue. Well, black folks in the South, Midwest, and sometimes in California and the West Coast, far West Coast, but I would say more Colorado, places like that, they end up having the same thing happen. See, now daddy's got like fucking 9 kids, right, in the same locale. So now them 9 kids, not all of them have met. You understand what I'm saying? So chances are that since it's a small town, people keep secrets. I can't tell you that's your daddy, because his baby mama whooped my ass type of situations. You know, this is why I don't have no kids. But that's what it really boiled down to, you know? So this woman will keep that secret. If you don't believe me, watch Judge Joe Brown, watch all these different shows, whatever. Yes, this shit exists. I'm not making this up. There's more than enough representation of it on YouTube. Go resource that. The point I'm getting at is, these kids, generation after generation after generation, we're talking about pre the internet stage, pre freaking mega malls across the United States, pre, you know, a lot of things. This happened in the 30s, 40s, 50s. So in a lot of cases, you got, just like you got, you know, and I watched a whole documentary from Cambridge University on this, about the tiers of white culture. We have the same thing with the tiers of black culture, Latin culture as well. And some of these people are inbred. They're nuttier than a motherfucker. They're local cousin fuckers, as we call them. And, you know, it is what it is. And we've all known some of them, you know, no matter what nationality, culture they are. We all know some, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I think Jeffrey missing the chromosome or something wrong with that little boy. Yeah, his mama and daddy are brother and sister. They just don't know it. Half brother and sister, you know, some shit like that. Some Frankenstein shit, but it happens to black people. It happens in Mississippi, it happens in Memphis, it happens in a lot of these places. If you go down and you interview or you look up some of the information that I'm talking about right now, and I'm paraphrasing here, but if you look it up in the seriousness and you want the demographics that bad, they are provided and available for you. You know, just because something is unbeknownst to you doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And if you do that, like I always say, and I learned this in the music business, if you do that, then that's when you're ushering your way out the door. Your opinion is not valid anymore or anything else, because now you're being labeled as a know-it-all. Even if you fucking know it, unless it's valuable to the company or valuable to the moment, valuable to anybody but you, and doesn't be, you know, it's not executed in narcissism, and it's not taken as a narcissist approach, that's the only time you get a pass on that shit. That's the only time. That's the only time. That's why I told y'all the other day when I was on here, I knew the difference. That's why I stayed around 17 years, and I used to see guys come in 6-7 months and they were gone, out the door. And it was because they like this attitude. Oh, you know, they get around 1 or 2 stars, start talking shit. Now they think they're friends with the stars. You know them 3 months. You know him from the office, you know. He ain't even at the office. He had the studio boy, he at the office, you know, office for meetings. Promo. What we gonna do with this marketing, you know? Shout out to Sean Prez. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all check out Sean Prez on Mondays on Instagram with Rich Dollars, a Love and Hip Hop. You know what I mean? They do a little sit down. This past week they had Peter Gunn's baby mom. I forgot what her name is. I think it's Amina or something like that. Real pretty girl. She was kind of going off the side for a minute. Now I didn't know, but look him up, Sean Prez. I share the Power Moves Makers podcast all the time, which I was a part of before this damn pandemic thing happened. We were filming out of Long Island University down there in Brooklyn. And we had, oh my God, everybody, man. Funkmaster Flex, we had DJ Envy. I've shared them in here. You know, if not, just go look up Power Moves Prez on YouTube. Tell them Davin sent you over there. You know, that's the same person y'all see on my page, ex-vice president of Bad Boy Entertainment, calls me his little brother, you know, in video. You know what I'm saying? So that's to shut down everybody real quick or whatever. I was valuable when I was valuable. You know, now it's all about me. You know, fuck that. So the resurface is about me. So y'all make sure y'all buy my fucking single when it comes out this week too, because I need all the support I can get. You know, I think I can get myself up to at least 50 grand. You know what I mean? And I want to do it via my whole avenue, that and the clothing line and shit like that. So, you know, we're working, man. We're working. And I hope you guys see that. I hope y'all guys see I keep moving. And I hope you enjoyed yesterday when I went down to the World Trade Center for y'all. You know what I mean? I wanted y'all to see that. Like I said, I wasn't here in New York, but I was right next door in Connecticut when it happened. Everybody, at the time I was working for Bad Boy when it happened, I had just started. I started at the end of 99. So I had just started. That halted us up for about 2 weeks. Ain't nobody coming to the office. They wouldn't, what's the name, people, FBI, they wouldn't let people into Times Square like that unless it was viable business. You know what I mean? I remember before that right across the street from people that are in the tri-state area. I remember across the street from Port Authority, the Jersey side, that's what we always call it, the Jersey side. There used to be nothing but stores, little 99-cent stores, shit like that. You know what I mean? My man Ott used to work there. I never know his name. I think his name was Ahmed or some shit like that. I used to always call him Ott. But cool little dude. I still got a picture with him and I was probably like 22, 23 years old at the time. You know what I mean? I always kept that picture though. He was a cool dude. I don't know what the hell ever happened to him, but he was cool. Women have to start changing their parameters as far as what they're attacking, because you're being set up by some men. And how do I know? Because I stand up and use the bathroom. You got a brother, an uncle, somebody you grew up and admired. All girls should. All girls should have one. I'm not talking about a man. I'm talking about a good man. You know, it's the difference. Even guys know a shitty motherfucker when they see one. We might say something, we may not say something, you know. We're hoping that you're smart enough and we got enough respect for you. And a lot of times we know it and see it to just, okay, well, this person may be right, this person may be wrong, or whatever. Get out in front of my camera talking. Thank you. I don't know what you're talking about. That's how I get flagged and shit. This motherfucker not gonna talk about anything. I don't understand that language. No offense. I know how YouTube works. I ain't get 1.9 million views, my motherfucker. I curse, and I know even the duration to curse. Yeah, if you boom, 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 that algorithm, it fluctuates up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Then there's other parameters around that affect the algorithm too. It's not just cursing. You know, there's a lot of guys that curse. Al Diaz, he curses all day on his fucking broadcast. Shout out to the Bronx. That guy. You know what I mean? Good Cuban guy right there. Go check him out. Al Diaz, man, on YouTube here. I always suggest people that I watch, you know. But women really have to start second guessing what a lot of men are promoting for them to fucking promote. You know what I mean? And what kind of guys is it? And the first type of guys I would say that you need to, you see, this is the thing, this is going to sound fucked up, but it's the truth. The LGBT community makes up, I think, something like 2 to 4% of the American population. There's nothing wrong with that. You understand what I'm saying? I got 2 cousins that's gay now, so that ain't the issue. No, but what I'm saying is, they don't have the same power as women as a gender and a demographic. Does that make sense? So the numbers are skewed. They don't have the same amount of numbers. Now, that's not a elective group, meaning that, you know what I'm saying? It's more of an elective group because the pure simple fact that you're making a choice, a life decision. A woman doesn't have the choice or not if she wants to, you know, become a woman or not, you know. And I hope they never define that like the way they want to with CRISPR and all this shit. You know what I'm saying? I hope they never do. You know, clone a sheep, so we get hungry. Because, you know, that's really what this shit is about anyway, you know. It's not depopulating things by the COVID-19 thing. I mean, like, as of today, we only had 600,000 people here in America die. It's 10 million motherfuckers in New York City. Hardly a dent on the population. No, the dent on the population, for me, the way I see it, is making the genders war. Black and white people, you can look this up in CDC reports. Black and white people specifically, because they have outside the American Indian, they have the longest leniency here, and the longest leniency together, whether we like it or not. We raised the kids, we built the White House. I mean, where you want me to stop? You know, we fought in the awards, every last one up to the Civil War. You know, we still celebrate it. You go down there to down south, the black Confederate soldiers down there, because they were forced to fight for the Confederacy. They commemorate it every year down there in Lynchburg, Virginia, Christiansburg, Virginia, and Blacksburg, Virginia. They do war reenactments down there. It's a fact. So make no mistake about it. If you're talking about leniency in this country, black and white America is definitely the whole as far as the structure of this country. Everybody knows that. We've been in for 500 fucking years. The point I'm getting at is this. And the first time in a long time, over 45 years, you now have a decrease in births from those two specific groups. Now, this is CDC affirmed. The actual statistics come back from a year prior. Okay, so we're talking about the statistics from actually 2019. So that means the 2020 numbers are not even out yet. To put it short, you're not procreating. You're waiting longer to procreate. That's what some of the studies suggest. On the weight of those procreations, sometimes nothing ever comes to term. Reduction in future population. Population is always trajectory. You understand what I'm saying? You have hopes that this amount of students, you have hopes that this amount of people go to college. You have hopes that this amount of people do this. You have hopes that this amount of people do that. But as you're seeing more and more, people are not opting for that long-term fucking financial goal of having to pay back the local colleges. But at the same time, the matriculation of the internet now and how it's being used is crazy because they're pinpointing and telling women to do one fucking thing, right? But in reality, they want them to do something totally different because it serves a cause in the end game. So this is what I mean by projections. You know, people that work in media, I worked in media for 17 years, all think the same. They think of projections, they think presumptuous all the time because if you don't think presumptuous, you know what I'm saying? You don't have any marketing skill. So people in this area, that's how they do. If you guys have ever watched my boss, I still call him my boss because we're like family, but if you ever guys ever watched Prez or know Sean Prez personally or all throughout the music industry or whatever, everybody knows that's how he is. You know, he's always been like that. Underneath him and Puff, that's how we were. I can honestly and truthfully tell you that women are now being used, a lot of their advocacies are now being used and they're being aligned. And like a perfect example of that is when I saw Antifa infiltrate Black Lives Matter. You get what I'm saying? Now, Antifa has been around for a very long time in this country. You can even go back to the Weather Underground and many other fucking groups like that. You know what I mean? They've been in this country for a long time, just like neo-Nazis. They changed the name, changed the bases, still same motherfuckers. We got some of them out in Connecticut, out in Harford County. We had Kid Rock come to Harford to do a concert, right? And he put up a Confederate flag on the stage. Put up a Confederate flag on the stage. Boyce Watkins, is that you? You look like Boyce Watkins, man, with the bag. This guy just walked past me, looked just like Boyce Watkins. The funny thing here is this, man. I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. Tell you one thing only. Stop joining everybody. There's a lot of people out here, they're going to use you because of your popularity as a woman to submit. A lot of men submit now, you know. I submit to a certain extent, but I don't have no wife, I don't have no girlfriend, I have no kids. I live by my fucking self, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have to do whatever the hell I want to do. But a lot of men, you ever remember dating a guy? I had two sisters. You ever remember dating a guy and you was like, oh my God, he's the shit, he's everything. When you get to the fucking ambulance, they're gonna die before you get there. Jesus fucking Christ. All right, sorry about that. Girls ever date a guy and you turned around and you thought he was the world or whatever. I swear to God, I was as slow as the ambulance or whatever. And you think this guy's the world, you think, I heard it all. Oh my God, he's the world, he's gonna be being here forever. My little pony. You know, and all that shit how y'all be thinking when y'all about 20 something. You know, it is what it is. We got our shit too as guys, you know what I mean? You're like, yo man, she mean everything, man. Word. Yo, what you like about her? Yo man, her ass. Well, guys, this is how it is. You know what I mean? And if you're not a guy, you don't say some shit like that. Get the fuck away from me. And you got other things on your mind. I don't have your interest. So, this is the thing I want to say. Ladies, when you're doing your advocacies or whatever, Start toning down what you use your strengths on your advocacies for. A lot of your advocacies are being used unpleasantly for things that in other circumstances would be considered regular. In some circumstances, don't stare at me like that. You have something to say? Do you have something to say?
No smoking area, sir?
I just asked if I could smoke over here for the guy in there. He told me yes, I could. So I'm outside the building. Yeah, I asked him that initially. You're shaking your head, but I want you to go ask the gentleman in the bank. And when you do that, you're interrupting my live right now. So I already asked him. I'm not going to have the conversation anymore. All right, so I'm back. Anyway. Ladies, you got to be careful of what you put your advocacies in. That gentleman right now just came over here and interrupted me for no reason whatsoever, just because he wanted to. You know what I mean? I'd already asked the guy, could I smoke a cigarette earlier? Ladies, watch who you are supporting. A lot of motherfuckers are using your advocacies, and they're taking your advocacy, and they're using it for their own views, they're using it for their own advantage, they're using it for their own fucking benefit, and they're making money off you. A lot of these guys are watching you on TV, and they are watching you, and they are saying to themselves, what the fuck are they doing, and how can we reward off of this? Now, if you don't believe me, watch a couple episodes of Love and Hip Hop. That's a goddamn woman that produces the show. I know her, Mona Scott Young. What's up, Mona? Who you paying to get beat up this week? That's what she does. I've been watching like 13 seasons of women getting beat up talking about women's rights. Women beating up other women. Orchestrated by another woman. Mona Scott Young produces the show. She writes the scripts, she puts out what she wants to see, and it's up whether or not that the label heads, the television heads at the time say, yeah, go ahead and air it. That's where that stands. All right, so she's been doing it for 13 seasons now, going almost 14. You know? Now, one other thing I want to talk about real quick, and I'm going to get a ball for here. I don't want to talk too much more about that. I was pissed off about it. The city of Danvers, Massachusetts issued this bullshit apology at first and said they had the right to do what they wanted to do after public demand, which you'll find in the article. After that, they say something totally different, the second one. So, you know, Danvers, Massachusetts, and Mass as a place, period, is pretty shitty anyway. Most people in New England will say that, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to all the mass holes. That's what we call them in Connecticut, mass holes. You know, these fuckers will go up there and kill you over a football game. You think I'm playing? There was a fucking guy up in Boston up there, Fenway, hit a guy with a fucking car because of the fucking goddamn game got loose. You're crazy. What I want to talk about is this. There is, for some reason or another, some type of fume that's going on. I don't know if a lot of y'all felt it too, but there's some kind of fume going on where you have, and I don't mean this as any insult because I come from a byproduct of that. You know what I'm saying? That island feel. But I said this and I'll say it before. People that are coming here now are not like the people that were coming here not even 20, 30 years ago, you know? And they have very different intentions. Very different intentions. They even prey upon the ones that are newly here, you know? That's crazy. And a lot of them are from their own countries. You know, that's why you get this definition of Latinx and all these other subgroups that, oh, well, we're the elite form of the Queen's Majesty form of Jamaicans or Malaysians. You know? It's kind of sickening. But one of the things I see is, you know, most of you guys know, most people that know me, know the first thing you don't want to do when you're dealing with me is come up and start talking crap to me or get passive aggressive or whatever. Because of the amount of viewership I have, who fools me, and the tendency I have to sue a motherfucker. So, and I learned that suing mechanism from the music industry, and I always gonna keep it there. You know, I would sue the fuck out of it. You know, I really will, and I think I've proven that. You know, I actually have fun in doing it. I like watching you tap dance like the motherfucker you truly are. I was sitting here, and as I was giving this diatribe, there was this young white woman that was sitting right next to me. Now, what this gentleman doesn't know is I live in Stamford, Connecticut, predominantly mostly Italian and Greek. He doesn't live like that. I can tell he doesn't live like that just by his reaction. Just like when I'm at home in Stamford, I can tell when somebody's from Norwalk or they're from Bridgeport because of the way they ascertain themselves, the way they speak. I can automatically tell. I'll be like, oh no, you ain't from here, you from Bridgeport, you're from here, you're from... And that's no shot at them, because there's some good people in each one of those locales. But predominantly, a lot of times that sticks out. Now, he saw this white woman sitting right there, and the first thing he did, and I walked to the one when he came out of his eye, because there's this disdain that we always had with the slaves of the islands, the queen's servants. Disdain we've always had with them. I don't know what the disdain is, because we both was colonized by the fucking English. So the English look at it as just like a fucking joke, as an argument. They're arguing about who's from North and West England. The fools. Bring me the old fools. Send me the old fool. Make them dance. These same people have a tendency to think that clever and being manipulative is mistaken for intelligence. No, you're just clever and attempting to be manipulative. And I understand that more than I think anybody does. Because one, I deal with it on a regular basis. From all fractions of life. And one thing I know real good is different nationalities of black people. I've been around French black people, which I always get along with most of the time. English black people, which I always get along with most of the time. American black people, that I get along with most of all the fucking time. That's my backup band. Reality is, something is with this thing with Africa, Haiti, and Jamaica specifically. And I'm trying to figure out what it is. Well, you're not raised on the Queens? Jamaica just got their, when did they get their emancipation? A couple, maybe 5-6 years ago? They celebrated their emancipation. Proud of them. But don't you pretend like y'all didn't go through the same shit that happened over here in the States. In fact, down there, y'all went through it worse. Didn't you? Oh, they don't talk about the torture that happened down in the Jamaican slave fields. Oh, they don't talk about that. You think a motherfucker getting beat at the stake, you know, that's the whip, that's bad too. Oh, the shit they were doing in Jamaica. You want to move over to Africa? Let's go to Monrovia, where ex-President Monroe set up a colony. You know, I've always gotten that approach when I try to interact. Not every time. I had one brother that I was real tight with. I still tight with that brother to this day. His name is Baba Ntunde. He's from Ghana. That's my man right there. And Baba broke down a whole bunch of things of why a lot of people feel the way they feel out of these different Western. They think they feel was spoiled, I guess. Well, I feel you're spoiled. You grew up next to a beach all your fucking life. What the fuck are you complaining about? You got fresh fish, fresh water. You know, there's all types of different people in Jamaica. The British West India Tea Company went there. So there's Indian people there, you know, Indian, like from India, Punjabi, Hipti, Punjab. There's a lot of them down there. There's a lot of Asian people in Jamaica that speak patois. What going on, star? You know, all that shit. Yeah, it's a fact. Some of them in Brooklyn, too. I remember the first time I saw a Chinese woman that had a Jamaican accent, I was like, oh, shit. I was in Queens. I was like, oh, shit. That's different. You know? Thank you very much, Dom Chick. Dom Chick just wrote on the comments. She said, hi, glad to see you doing well. Thank you, baby. Thank you, Annette. Net threw up the Cash App. That's right. $STRINGERBELL 80, Stringerbell 80. Y'all make sure y'all check that out. I want to go back. I want to finish this diatribe because I see this happen a lot of times. You know, I walked up 125th Street and we just finished well, we ain't finished with the pandemic. It's still going on. And I see all kinds of vendors out there. Y'all remember when I went out there? And a lot of those vendors are African vendors. And unless you are coming to get your hair done by one of those African women, they will not speak to you in a normal place. And I'm like, well, you come from the dirt, though. I don't think they get the perception of how we see it. You know what I mean? And in order they divulge on trying to see it because they're so busy trying to hide up who their past was. You can't hide your past. You come from poverty. You come from the sheer extincts of poverty that I could not even imagine, even going into the most poverty-filled neighborhood in America. The sheer poverty that exists right now, I challenge anybody that's described what's going on in Afghanistan right now. Argue with me. Argue with me. If you go to these countries right now, I'll give you another example. Right now in Bombay, India, they have to house water in there on 2 or 3 motherfucking tanks, water tanks. They have to bring in water every day because the water has been so saturated with urine, feces. There's all kinds of pathogens in the water now or whatever, and people get in there and they take baths. Still to this day, people get in that water and urinate. The conditions where some of these people are in these group housing, and they've got like one, plate basically to urinate and do all kinds of stuff or whatever. I have a friend of mine, Sarah, that lives in India. I know Sarah very well for a young age. She's been there now. Her husband is Indian. And she has been there now, well, ex-husband now, has been there for over 13, 14 years. So I talked to her. And this is how I found a lot of this shit out. She's taking pictures of it, showing it to me. I'm like, wow, really? I don't come from the same background as you. We are different. Make no mistake about it. But what you're making a mistake of is you're making a mistake of realizing that you have no power in government over here. You got a couple little embassies, shit like that, but they're under American rule. See, under the terminology the CDC puts it, they call it a native-born citizen. Native-born American versus the immigrant. And as much as you pretend, all you want to, I don't give a fuck, but as much as you pretend, you understand what I'm saying, it will remain that. Now, I respect that diagram because pure simple fact, it points out people that were born and raised in this country, and just like the points of origin that you are from and you are proud of, you are proud of the citizens within there, which you display every year, whether it be a parade, whether it be a festival day, wherever the hell it be, and we all come to it, we patronize your motherfucking businesses. You'll never see so many motherfucking black folks and Latin people out. If you don't go to Puerto Rican Day Parade, if you go to LBGT Parade, you'll never see so many black and Puerto Rican people. But tell them motherfuckers, hey, we going to build a house for the homeless. You won't see one of them motherfuckers out there. You got to learn how to navigate the power of your advocacy. I've been telling you guys that since the point I got on here. I've had guys offer me $5,000, $6,000 to do an interview based on, the background with Bad Boy Entertainment. Y'all saw with Storm Monroe and many others. I turned them down. Because I know at that point, once I do that interview with them, they get to narrate my story however they want to based on the fact that I've been on their show. And they paid me. Be careful, new wave immigrants, when you come here, and be careful of what you're trying to beat up against. Because the same colonizers that were in your countries had the same mentality as these colonizers that were here. And I'm talking about the elite of the colonizers. I'm not talking about regular poor white trash. No offense. Even white folks know what I'm talking about when I say that. The first time I ever learned the term pasty pale was from my ex-girlfriend. She said, that pasty pale bitch. It was the funniest shit I'd ever heard at the moment. Shout out to Stephanie. That shit is still funny as hell to me if you hear this, Stephanie. But what I'm getting at is, and I'm going to end this is this right here, guys, because I can't think of any more to say more correctly than this. To my immigrant friends that are coming here, I am not your enemy. But what you're not going to do is going to forget and think that you're going to replace me somehow or somewhere, because you got a long way to go. Now, I can break each one of you down in demographics or whatever and tell you how much power you have in this country based on the position that you are and the heads that you are, the numbers that you have in constituencies, not only across America, but currently in caucus in Congress. Now, the National Black Caucus makes up 38% of the House of Representatives. That's from every U.S. United States motherfucking fraction. I don't understand where you got power. Many of you are only 2 to 4% of the demographic here in America, where we stand at 14.8%. So if you're good at math, you see more of us versus your own. You see more of us. 14.9% versus 4%. There are more of us than you. Yeah, that's not a threat. That's not a warning or anything like that. No, what I'm trying to tell you is we have more of us that were natively born here, and you just coming here from one generation to 2 generations back. There is a distinct difference. I know some people that are here right now that were down at that 9/11 memorial the other day, didn't know fucking one thing what happened in 9/11. It was trending. Let's go down there. I know some people like my homegirl, Mia Saltis, who was in the trade tower. I put that up on my page too. Her and her husband, Ruben Santiago, they did an interview just recently about that. But she still had an ID from the World Trade Center and everything, you know. So it's a tragedy, and rest in peace regardless, because y'all saw those names I was reading. Them names were Indian, Asian. I made sure I got everybody in there, as many names as I possibly could, because they all fucking matter. But if I'm the one that has that mentality and you have a step and fetch and slave mentality, then my friend, we're going to clash every single time, because see, your enunciations and your presumptions, they're going to get you in trouble. Y'all have seen me on this camera chop down cops, everybody. Hold up, the fuck, what? Section dash so-and-so and so says, listen, I can film whatever the fuck I want to film. I was a classic one right there. She said, you can't film. I said, I can film whatever the fuck I want to film in the state of Connecticut. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about right now. Matter of fact, here's the sanction and the motherfucking article of the law. You can look it up for yourself, okay? There you go. I told the cop when he got there, listen, I filmed you because you were doing dumb shit. And you should film any motherfucking Karen, Ken, black or white, because we got some black Karens and some black Kens too. I just seen y'all on YouTube. Oh yeah, we got some black Karens and some black Kens too, and some Latin ones too. Just doing a little bit too much. You can't skateboard here. Motherfucker, are you crazy? Like, you know how neurotic you have to be to step in someone's way and say, you can't do this, or you can't do that, or you can't do this, or you can't do that, and direct that at a person as a person in society. And one thing I'm good at, I'm always good at covering my ass. Why I do that? Because Clive Davis was right above the floor fucking us for the longest, and that was when Puff first got his deal. That's the office I was in right around the corner here, 1540 Broadway. All right? Now, I was in that office for damn near probably 8 years of the 17 years. Then we went over to Atlantic. They became our distributor. And then finally, we ended up in Interscope. And one of the funniest things was this. We were always on our P's and Q's when we were up there those first 8 years, because Puff had just went from a little small ass, they had a small ass office on 3rd Avenue in the Bronx. They went from that office, okay, all the way up to right here in Midtown Manhattan, just like that. You know, when Puff got the distribution deal. So, you know, it was like everybody was on their P's and Q's because this was Clive fucking Davis. You know what I mean? People are not on their P's and Q's when it comes to interacting with each other in the culture. You know, you might be from Haiti, you might be from here, you might be from there, you might be from here. That was a black man that's driving that Bentley. You might be from wherever you're from. The point I'm getting at is this. You have one option and goal in this country, because being that you're outnumbered and there's more of us than it is of you, depending on whatever country you're from, this is the option you have, to have some solidarity. The things that you execute in the ways that you feel in your country, you cannot execute those rules and the practice here. And you're going to find time and time again, there's a group of men like me, because like I said, at 14+ something% of the population, you will find that there's a group of men that are just like me that are not going to do that either. Groups of military men, groups of men like the men down in Georgia with Huey P. Newton Gun Club, I think that's what it's called. Shout out to those guys for stopping those freaking wahoos down there on Stone Mountain and getting all that national attention on CNN or whatever. You know, you have to go public. You have to go public. And if you don't go public, I mean, what's going to happen is your story gets lost in the sauce. You can have as much video as you want to. It doesn't matter. You have to have a narrative to drive the video with, you know. Other than that, it's just a 60-second fucking clip that somebody's going to forget in 3 or 4 days anyway, you know. That's one thing I miss about life before the internet, was that people were excited, anticipated. People were more together. Now we have all these little secular groups popping up, and everybody's an advocate for this, advocate for that. I love this coach, I love that coach, I love this coach, I love that coach. This is happening over here, let's run over here. I asked what happened with Brother Polite the other day. Nobody's talking about him anymore. But yet this man is being accused of raping a 14-year-old girl or sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl. Second time. Which the first case, he got a disposition. 14-year-old girl. Y'all ain't talking about the girl. Y'all was talking about the Rolls Royce Chronicles he was doing. How much money has he collected in donations? Matter of fact, you're speaking of that. Let me throw my shit out here again. $STRINGERBELL 80. Y'all all know me, know my story. My name is David Lewis, formerly of Bad Boy Entertainment. Been there since 2000. I was around when the Shine Shoot happened and all kinds of other shit. So, you guys can look me up. My story is pretty much all in chronological order. So if you want to go back at least about 9 to 10 months or whatever, I think it's on a 10-month period now. Go back 10 months or whatever on my page, you'll see everything there in chronological order. Just follow up, you know what I mean? Just follow up, and you'll get the whole gist or whatever. But yeah, it's $STRINGERBELL 80. That's Stringerbell 80. Also, there's a PayPal link in the description box, and also there's a link to the story as well about this woman that I was talking about initially at the beginning of the podcast here. I refuse to beef with brown people because I know what each one goes through. You know what I mean? And I try to make it not a thing, My daughter's mother, I had a daughter. My daughter died. Her name was Mani Katia Lewis. I talked about it on here about 2 or 3 times. So it was nothing. And my daughter's mother, she was Haitian. She was from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Patientville. And she was born there and pretty much raised there, came to the States when she was like 10 or 11 years old. So she was a Haitian woman, Et douillon, vous compris, oui. Savien, and Farrah, that was her name, Farrah. Farrah used to take a lot of shit from people because people would make fun of Haitian people. I used to always have to tell her, I said, why you worried about that shit for? She's like, no, that's my people, that's my people. I was like, yeah, I get it. So I can understand where some of that frustration would come from because I've heard these similar stories over and over and over and over again. But listen here, Africans are all the diaspora. We have one common enemy right now, whether you want to believe that or not or whatever. My features are different than yours. And as fucked up as that sounds, it's the truth. It's the truth. We're talking about gentlemen that were doormen, security guards, things like that, and I respect them. My little homie, he works out in fucking Groton at the Navy base out there, security guard. I never have a problem with security guards. That's why I initially asked the security guard. I said, hey, can I smoke a cigarette on the outside? The gentleman said yes. So I continue to do such, Sad enough as to be, the gentleman felt in recognition of this white woman that he needed to start a problem with his black man. And he forced this white woman to walk off in a scurry and made both of us look like idiots. And he doesn't realize that. He hasn't come to the connotation that, hey, I made us both look silly. Especially when you circled around me 4 times previously and see me smoking a cigarette, you wait until you see me talking on camera. And that's the last thing you should have done. 1.8 million views. I don't get them from dumb shit, Well, let's see what everybody's saying to him, man. I ain't even read. Stringerbell, David Child sent you something for the. Thank you so much. And you know what? I'm about to go the fuck up there right now, too. Thank you so much. You never lie. Welcome Sunday. Angel B, what's going on? K. Cole, what's going on, dog? Most of these pump fakers change their tone once they get the letter from the attorney. It always happens like that. I've seen people like Homeboy, for example. I had to catch him on camera because those are the 2 guys that I thought were, this is a thing that's happening in society. Like out in Stanford, right? Where I live, they're in the train station. They left this thing there, this mandate from the state. And the state issued a mandate saying the homeless people could stay in the train station based off of the pandemic because the I'm assuming that the homeless shelters and things like that, like we don't have a lot of facilities like that out there in Connecticut. If we do, they go by each different constituency and each different locale. So they said that people could remain in the train station, which is cool. This is the problem when they're not thinking about it in this contention. And I know this because my mother in her profession. A lot of these people, they were receiving services when they were on the street before the pandemic started. You see what I'm saying? So once the pandemic started, all office buildings here in Manhattan, this shit didn't look like a ghost town. I was out here. I had masks on, everything. I think we came out here one time with me and my homeboy, and we were just filming shit. I have hours worth of footage where there was nobody in Times Square, nobody on the subway, nobody. Like, I'm dead serious. You know, as eerie as that is to imagine, because all my adult life that I've lived in the Northeast, I have never remembered not being able to see nobody. You go out to Times Square at 5 o'clock in the fucking morning, there was somebody out there. You know what I mean? Even if it was Dirty Mike and the boys, you know, it was somebody out there, motherfucker. We will get you a car again. It will happen. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all gotta watch that movie with Will Ferrell. That shit is so fucking funny. Oh, man. Dabby, you're absolutely right regarding who support. I'm very skeptical of that. You gotta start being skeptical of that and start answering the question upon the question. Why are so many people, you know what I mean, doing that? Peace, Roxanne. Roxanne, what's going on? Roxanne, how you doing, Brooklyn? What's going on with you? Annette, that's my motherfucking girl right there. I don't give a fuck nobody say. For real. I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. Annette will never, ever, ever. The same thing with you, TMH, and a few other. And it ain't based on the motherfucking dollar. It's the incentive, nigga. I try to tell motherfuckers it's the incentive. It's the incentive that I appreciate. You know what I mean? There are thousands of people that watch me. I got one video just recently and set up for fucking 3 days and got 11,000 views. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I got fucking flagged, that's what fucked everything up. Because I was getting like 50,000 a hit, 35. I think the lowest I was getting before I got flagged was like 35,000. You know what I mean? And that flag of a video that somebody flagged the video that they weren't even in the video, didn't even own ownership of the video, and to top it all off with the cherry on the top, it wasn't even from your perspective. It was from the person's perspective, and they filmed themselves engaged in said article. You understand? So imagine there's an interview going on, and the person is filming themselves having their interview. That was the perspective of the footage I had. They flagged me for that. It was for Tokyo Tony. That's Black China's mother. And it was when she was beefing with Tasha K. I still think Tasha K got motherfuckers on my page, for real. She got me paranoid. I'm scared of you, Tasha. Fuck you. I was playing. Tasha cool. She all right. I like what she did on Polite. At least she wasn't half-step on that. I can give her that. I give the girls that props when they do something good. But y'all don't want talking about all this salaciousness shit. Guess what Lonnie from Real Housewife of Atlanta said about so-and-so sleeping with her husband? Y'all get on that fucking stepping, fetching fucking shit. I just click. Everybody, listen, I watched two girls fight my whole goddamn life. I don't need to turn on the Real Housewives of Atlanta to watch two women fight, and then the next minute they be talking about, this is just terrible what they doing to women. You're terrible what you doing to women. You got two women on TV with millions of viewers watching women fight. Little girls watching the show, watching women fight. What the fuck is wrong with you? Where's your character? Where's your moral? So you understand what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not trying to kill women's advocacy. I don't respect no motherfucker that attack a woman, rape a woman, or do any shit like that. I listen, castrate that motherfucker as far as I'm concerned. You understand what I'm saying? And the younger, the more damage you do to him. Welcome. Man, oh man. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. I got so many thoughts, like, all right, I promise you I'm going to go get this phone, and then I'm going to hop back on here with y'all, because I want to tell y'all about, I'm going to go live with y'all for about 3 hours, because I need that 3 hours. That's why I always have my lives for 3 hours. Only been on here for an hour, because I like to get to each segment, talk about each topic, and break it down. Y'all know how I do, and I don't really have that type of, you know what I'm saying? So let me get some Yahweh in me, you know what I'm saying, off the kosher menu. You know what I'm saying? Get some Yahweh in me off the kosher menu. You know what I mean? Get right, but you know what I mean? And come back or whatever, man. Yo, thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all so much for donating all that stuff or whatever, man. I appreciate it. I really do. I'm glad that y'all not just brown nosing with me because of who I used to be with Bad Boy and all that shit. Fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all heard 4 ex-employees from Bad Boy on that struggle cast. Shout out to them because I love them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Rome, shout out Mayor, shout out Styles. You know what I'm saying? Shout out D. You know what I mean? Those are the 4 gentlemen y'all saw make that video. That struggle cast ain't getting up but 1,100 views. That was a rebuttal to my video that now got 285,000. You know, that's still my man's in them or whatever. Let nobody bother. We arguing. You know what I'm saying? We arguing. A lot of people ain't gonna understand that. We arguing. That don't mean you argue. We argue. You understand? All right, guys, I'm over here. Cash App is $STRINGERBELL80. PayPal link is in the description. I'm going to go get this new joint so y'all ain't see this. What I did was I freaked it, but look. You still see it? I had to do the whole time. I had to do it like this because I'm figuring what it is now. Oh, absolutely. I ain't going nowhere. Y'all notice even when I was going, I was still uploading shit. I got like 5 videos I ain't even uploaded. I got a story. I'm going to tell y'all about that real quick before I go. I got a couple other stories, man, about I'm going to start going into a lot of murders, a lot of reaction videos talking about like a lot of women across the country are getting murdered by crazy-ass ex-boyfriends, shit like that. And this one particular story that I got is out of Atlanta, Georgia. This simple-minded motherfucker that just got sentenced. Fuck that motherfucker. And fuck your family, too. That's what y'all need to start saying. Fuck you and fuck your family because they the ones that raised you. Even if they sitting around, no, that's negligence. That's why you like the way you are. This guy had just gotten out of jail, came back to his, I'm assuming one kid was by her, okay? Came back to the home, was staying in the home, bum-ass motherfucker. That's why I tell you, when I was fucked up, y'all saw how many women were telling me I could come stay with them and all that. Don't never go stay with no woman. She get mad at you, especially in the wintertime, nigga. Your ass is out the door. Please believe that. This dude moved into the home with this lady. Something happened. I don't know what kind of argument it was. But he ended up not only killing and stabbing. Huh? What's that, brother? Nah, I'm live, brother, right now. I don't know what that brother was talking about. I'm not sure what that brother was talking about. I ain't want to diss him or nothing. Damn. I might have missed out on the opportunity. Who knows? I'm sorry. I just get nervous when somebody be like, yo, come here real quick. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, nah, I'm straight. You know what I mean? I don't be fucking with people like that sometimes. But yeah, man. Crazy shit about shit, man, is this, man. If any of y'all get the chance, just donate to the Cash App link or whatever, man. I appreciate it. It's $STRINGERBELL80. I just got off my mojo or whatever, but that motherfucker, he ended up killing that girl. He ended up killing her daughter, and he ended up trying to kill his own son. And his own son was at court testifying on him. He said, what did they do to you? You know, so it's just crazy, man. And, you know, any dude that kill a woman like that out of anger, you a punk motherfucker. Point blank period. There ain't no excuse for it. Nothing. There ain't no excuse for it. Unless she was attacking you, then you gotta let the goddamn it out. You just gotta let the goddamn it out. She tagging. Some of these girls can shoot. I'm trying to tell you. They've been with their uncles and daddies all their life. Daddy said put a point scope on this motherfucker and lock the gauge. Oh shit. Fuck! I just broke my bag. Ain't that a bitch? All right, guys. I'm off of here. I got to fix my bag and go probably possibly buy another one. So I'll talk to you guys in a few minutes here. Later.